survival special, now on Central, takes us on a journey to the forgotten river. In the African country of Botswana, there was once a paradise. The clear waters of a well-fed channel called Savuti attracted animals from miles around to its lushness. But in Africa, nothing stays the same. In the early 1980s, drought seared the continent. Moisture was sucked from the earth, and within months, herds of hippos began to crowd into the last pools. Animals concentrated around this fragile vein of life. Rainwater pans dried, and the Savuti channel shrank and drained away. Thousands of animals found themselves trapped in an arid wilderness. Those that tried to wait out the drought perished. Wave upon wave of animals set off in search of water, unaware of the changes they were to inflict on their final destination. Predators lay in wait for any animal that weakened or strayed far from the rest of the herds. But Africa is an ancient place. Its inhabitants have ancient memories. Some of the travelers had generations of accumulated knowledge. Some had never been this way before. All had to make the journey to the forgotten river. In the early 1980s, dust devils became familiar apparitions. Foaming from the eyes, the last hippopotamus to leave Savuti forces her way from the drag of the thickening mud. She is heavily pregnant. In hope of rain, she has waited until the very last moment. Now her only chance of survival is to make the journey to a place she has never seen, to find somewhere that can promise water. Over 7 years, from 1982 to 1988, the drought tightened its grip on the South African country of Botswana. In the northwest of this largely unspoiled wilderness, animals have always relied upon the Linyanti River and the Savuti Channel. In 1982, drought and seismic shifts in the earth dried out rainwater pans and drained the Savuti, leaving the animals little choice but to retreat to Linyanti. The routes to this forgotten place are etched in sand, ancient elephant paths that seem to stretch for endless miles across Botswana. Thousands of animals trudge through the thick dust towards the Linyanti, 70 miles to the north. Their pace slows as temperatures soar. young nomadic lions have left their prides and are following hopefully in the dust of the herds. The young lions have stumbled across a pair of stranded hippos. Usually, hippos would flee to water, but now there is no water and no escape. The inexperienced lions are unwilling to test the great teeth of the hippos. Some bull elephants halt their journey at old depressions along the way. With sensitive trunks and feet, they work away at the earth. At last, they dig deep enough to allow a little underground water to seep into the holes. Not much, but enough to sustain them a little further on their journey across the parched landscape. The journey is taking its toll. A foot slips in the churned-up sand and a shoulder joint is thrown out. The others wait, clearly reluctant to leave her. As days pass beneath the sun, those that stand a chance of survival can wait no longer. The injured cow elephant is left behind to die. As always, opportunists are waiting for any weakness. For the nomadic lions following in the dust of the herds like shadows, the journey is also hard. They too need moisture to survive. Moisture from water or blood. Alone, far behind the other refugees from Savuti, the hippo struggles on, her journey made more difficult by the thick sand, her short strides, and the burden of pregnancy. But there is a brief respite. A rainwater pan hidden in the thickets will provide refuge for another month. Other, less welcome visitors are also drawn to the water. At the edge of this temporary haven, the mother has given birth. Newborn hippo calves usually wait for a few minutes to gain their strength before they take their first steps. But in these unfamiliar surroundings, the mother can't wait. Desperate to get her calf to safety, she urges him to stumble forward into the water. The tranquility of the pan is soon shattered. The herds from Savuti have already moved on. Now elephants from more distant areas of drought are following the same trails north. The weary travelers quench their thirst. For many, the water summons a new burst of life. They rush into the pan to drink and splash and wallow. Wave after wave of fragmented groups of elephants drink and bathe in the pan, then continue on their way. Quickly, the water that is so precious to the newborn calf and his mother is churned into mud. Their plight now is just as desperate as it had been in Savuti just a few months before. This place is no longer a refuge. They must follow in the wake of all the others. Ahead of them, the way is littered by grim reminders of the fate that awaits them if they falter. Once more, the mother hippo heads off into the scrubland, now only 20 miles from Linyanti. But now she is followed by her infant calf, still trailing his umbilical cord. Is harsh and desolate. For centuries, countless animals have passed this way in search of water. For those that can complete the journey, there is a green refuge. Through the scrub and forest, beyond the floodplains, there is a river called Linyanti. The river moves to its own rhythm, apparently secure and stable, its residents unaware of the approaching change. Already the first messengers of change have arrived. The elephants celebrate their arrival as herd after herd spills out of the barren interior. Along with the herds, the nomadic lions filter in, their senses suddenly heightened by the flood of available prey. Paradise has been reached, and the future of the herds will be closely bound to this newfound water. By contrast, the hippo and her calf still have many miles of struggle ahead of them, but miraculously, they are still alive. In Linyanti, the resident lion prides have long dominated the riverfront. Each night, the masters keep vigil. The territories of the different prides fill the forest and riverbanks, sometimes overlapping, never vacant. Hunting is normally left to the females, but under a full moon, hunting is seldom worth the effort. Robbed of their advantage by the bright moonlight, the predators sleep or play. They transmit a common scent among members of the pride. The newly arrived buffalo herds spread out on the Linyanti floodplains make a tempting target. Even in the full moonlight, when the buffalo can see the lions, the reward of a large kill is worth the effort. So the lions circle, waiting and watching. A stumble, a call from a sick buffalo could be the signal. This time, the male carries the attack on an exhausted cow buffalo. The nomadic lions are tempted to venture into the domain of the resident pride. Drawn by the distress calls of the kill, the newcomers rush forward, but they are driven off. Their presence will not be tolerated here. They will have to settle for smaller game.
The Musicals Collection brings you all the great shows at a truly great price. $3.99 from your newsagent. Start with West Side Story. The great songs, the great performances, glimpses behind the scenes. The Musicals Collection, each fortnightly issue on CD or cassette with a lavish publication. Issue 1, West Side Story, is only 99p.
At 768, this settee is great value. With £150 off in the sale, it's fantastic. And when the sale discount is doubled to over £300 off, it's unbelievable. But believe it you must, because DFS is giving double discounts on many sale offers. Double discount means this leather sofa's only $498, while this sofa's just $299. Plus, there's an extra £100 off every three-piece suite. We will only discount all our prices once a year. That's why everything is reduced. Every single settee, sofa, chair, every style, every colour. Don't miss double discount at DFS from today, including New Year's Day.
Do It All's biggest ever sale is now on. Berger emulsions down to $9.99 for 10 litres. There's interest-free credit on bath suites over £250. Spend £20 in any Dulux paint and you'll get a free £3 Do It All voucher. Save £5 on our Twin Security Light, now only $19.99. And ceramic tile adhesives down to $7.99. You'll find hundreds of savings in every department in the store. It's Do It All's biggest ever sale.
It's a dirty, rotten deal where you lose your woman, your dog, and your wheel. Call me melancholy, baby, 'cause the rain is coming down. Oh, yeah.
Don't stop, don't stop. It's gorgeous. My ears want to marry your music. Your singing really moves me, son. You know that? Right here, just in my wallet. I want you to sign this recording card. What's that? Heineken, Schmeineken, champagne, caviar, truffles, silk underwear, fluffy pillows, French...
Shut up, woman. I'm listening.
You like my suit? It's yours. You look like $1 million. My ears can smell major recording talent a mile away, son. You like the limo? It's yours.
I'm hurting. Oh, yes, I'm hurting so bad.
Wouldn't you like to make more of the plants in your home? Know how to check if you're over or under watering? Make a feature of even the dullest corner. Or stop your yucca turning yucky. With Plant Magic, the secrets are yours. Each week you'll find plant profiles, practical tips and advice on choosing the right plant for the right spot, plus tips like how to prevent drying out and step-by-step plans for creating beautiful arrangements. Add that touch of magic around your home with Plant Magic.
Dawn seeps into Linyanti. Drawn by the smell of water, the elephant herds continue to filter through the forest, following the same signs as generations before them. There is an air of uneasiness as baboons run ahead of the sounds of the approaching herds. The mother and her calf are tired, but they are nearly there. she can smell the water ahead and hear the sounds of life. Warthogs thrive on these floodplains, where hunters and scavengers of all sizes wait for any chance to catch an easy meal. Though the sow's tusks are formidable weapons, the jackals are experts in outwitting their prey. Constantly changing the direction of their attacks, they confuse her, and the odds quickly turn against her. She can't keep control as her young scamper about in the chaos. With the desperation of a new mother, she tries to keep her litter intact, never willing to forfeit one piglet to save the others. She plays to the strategy of the jackals. As she saves one, she exposes another. The mother warthog finally leaves the field with her two remaining piglets, one badly injured, but still likely to survive. When the hippo and her calf arrive at the forest overlooking the Linyanti River, they find the resident hippo herd resting at a pool, their numbers already increased by the influx of other hippos, also seeking respite from the drought. They have arrived, but they are not welcome. Newcomers are not easily accepted. But the mother hippo is determined. She has traveled a long way for this. With her calf close behind her, she enters the water to confront the disturbed herd. One by one, the dominant individuals, both male and female, surge forward to attack and chase them away from the herd. For hours, the battles rage on, but at last the fury begins to ebb. She has won a place in the herd. Her position in the hierarchy will be established in time. Acceptance by the herd is the only way she can gain access to the waterhole. Being part of the herd also gives extra protection for her calf. The forest has many shadows. When the rare Chobe bushbuck come out onto the floodplains to drink, they are exposed. Leopards lie in wait to ambush them. Baboons are their sentinels, warning of attack from their treetop vantage points. In the dense corners of the forest, the bushbuck are safe. But even in the forest, old balances are being altered. The sanctuary is being changed by the very animals that have come in search of survival. During the first years of the drought, the number of elephant herds grows constantly. Thirsts are answered by the river. But when they retire to the shade, the elephants trigger a change that will transform Linyanti. They start to feed in the lush, pristine forest. In the winter of 1985, dark clouds appear on the horizon. Flocks of tiny birds fly into Linyanti. No more than 5 inches long, these red-billed quilias gather in flocks of tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands, moving like columns of smoke, like one animal, invading the silent landscape. They have also come for the water, but, like the elephants, they gather in the forest to feed. Every grass seed is gleaned and swept up by the flocks. Like feathered locusts, the quilias swarm into Linyanti each year, growing in number all the time. By 1988, flocks of more than 100 million soar over the reed beds, creating their own wind as they fly by. Along the crowded banks of the river, even the quilias have to take turns to get a drink. Often they're forced to hover near the surface. The opportunity is not missed by the resident crocodiles. Time after time, the young crocodiles attack, gulping mouthfuls of the tiny birds. They fly off, only to return again to the same spot, each individual lost in the dive and swirl of the flock. For millions of years, the crocodiles of Linyanti have played out an ancient ritual. They come out onto the riverbanks and listen to the earth. Female crocodiles can hear calls below the ground and sense underground movements in their throats. Since earliest times in Linyanti, crocodiles have hatched out of eggs laid in natural alcoves along the riverbank. When the young hatch, they do so in a flood, one call stimulating another hatching. They are immediately snatched into the safety of their mother's jaws and taken down to the river. But scrub and low growth are now disappearing. The open ground has been pummeled by heavy footprints. The crocodiles are losing their cover along the riverbanks. They have to move their nesting sites away from the mainland, out to the papyrus islands in the marshland. Ever alert, jackals see the chance of an easy meal. The unhatched crocodile eggs are stolen and saved for later. As the food supply diminishes, others follow the crocodiles onto the papyrus beds. When the number of elephants nears 20,000, the pressure is so great that they too swim across to the papyrus islands in search of food. When the elephants feed, they drop broken reeds into the river. Debris floats downstream to the narrows in the river. It collects and stops. In time, roots from the reed banks secure the mat. Silt builds up, creating a dam, so that water floods the marsh islands, the only refuge for the Sitatunga. Year after year, as blockages grow, watercourses shift and the river itself changes. But such events are natural. The elephants are simply the agents of change. While their feeding causes blockages downstream, in other places it opens up papyrus beds, flattens reed beds, and creates new lagoons. Their swimming and playing stirs up the silt and opens new streams on a new course. Cape hunting dogs breed in the damaged forest. Each year, these wild dogs find refuge among tumble-down trees to excavate their dens. Usually, only one litter of pups is allowed at a time. Now, with easy hunting and safe dens, more than one female is allowed to breed. The broken forest suits their needs. The hippos remain unmoved by the changes occurring around them. The determined female and her calf are now part of the herd. When she goes into the water to feed, she leaves the calf alone with the others. After growing up with them for several seasons, he is now secure. Curious, he explores the group of sleeping adults while his mother feeds on the young reeds growing in the new lagoon. The feeding activity of nearly 3,000 hippos in the Linyanti waterways also alters the river. When she returns, the calf is no longer where she left him. In panic, she goes on a frantic search until she finds him.
It's bigger than a sale. It only happens once a year. It's the Texas end-of-year sellout, with all surplus stocks to clear, with discontinued ranges, manufacturers' clearances, and more in most departments, plus many other extra bargains too. So don't miss the Texas end-of-year sellout.
There's an effective indigestion tablet that doesn't leave a chalky, gritty taste behind. For fast relief in a soft, chewy tablet, try Remagel, or new Fresh Mint Remagel.
Let's get together and feel alright. call 0800 44 5533 or your ABTA travel agent.
By the winter of 1988, Linyanti is tired. Trees are little more than sticks. Elephant numbers are at saturation point. Animals are using up the last of what remains, picking Linyanti clean, like vultures on a carcass. Yet animals that would have perished by the thousand have found salvation at this forgotten river. The predators of Linyanti have been enjoying an extended season of plenty. For 7 years, they have thrived on the abundance of food and used the hardship of others as an ally. The numbers of resident lions have grown. The territories along the river have been well worth defending. But once again, there are changes afoot. In the electric night, the Sesame herds are confused. They split and regroup as each changing wind brings the smell of danger. In this confusion, multiple kills are made. The cycle has turned. The rains have come. For months, the downpours of 1988 and 89 bring more rain than has fallen in the previous 30 years. And when it's over, the herds are leaving. With the coming of the rains, grasses and flowers spring into life, but they're not enough to delay the herd's departure. For the resident predators like the lions, the exodus of the herds will bring lean times. But the wild dogs are prepared to move. They have no territories to defend, and so they follow. They select a young zebra, but the dominant stallions in the herd drop back and form a defensive line between the dogs and the vulnerable young. The defense is impenetrable, and the wild dogs and the zebra engage in a game, neither dogs nor zebra wanting to make contact. brief moment, Linyanti offered a haven for the herds. Without this crowded sanctuary, they would not have survived. Elephant herds disappear into the thousands of miles of wild country in Botswana that have been waiting for the rains to revive them. Like the other herds on this worn landscape, the hippos begin to scatter. But the female and her calf have moved once too often. They are settled, reluctant to leave. Places like Linyanti are one of nature's reserves, held in store until the day they are needed. And when that need is over, left alone again. Already the forest is recovering. One day the elephants will return, and they will tear down the forest again and again for generations to come. The river will keep changing. But perhaps for now, Linyanti can stay as the forgotten river.
Suicide or murder is the question the bill must answer, next on Central.